Imagine getting a message from your mother saying, "Why aren't we close anymore? We used to be best friends." Except those best friend years were actually filled with manipulation, gaslighting, and betrayal. How do you respond when the parent who violated your trust now demands an emotional connection they never actually built? This question haunts countless adult children who've struggled with manipulative parents, and today's story delves deep into this complex emotional terrain. We're exploring a situation that might feel painfully familiar to many of you: the challenging reality of maintaining boundaries with a parent who seems incapable of acknowledging the harm they've caused. Imagine spending your childhood being told you're the reason for your parents' divorce, having your privacy constantly violated, and even having your mother create fake social media profiles to manipulate you. Then imagine that same mother claiming you used to be best friends and demanding more closeness. This is the reality for our storyteller, a 38-year-old woman whose mother's increasing neediness is putting her in an impossible position. How many of us have felt that gut-wrenching mixture of guilt and resentment when dealing with a difficult parent? That voice inside that whispers, maybe we're being too harsh, too unforgiving, even as we know we're protecting ourselves from real harm. Our storyteller's journey reflects a universal struggle, the delicate balance between honoring family ties and preserving our own mental health. This story isn't just about one difficult mother-daughter relationship. It's about the challenging balance between self-protection and family obligations, about setting boundaries with those who don't respect them, and about the complex emotions that arise when the person who hurt you refuses to acknowledge their role in your pain. It's about the courage it takes to say no to toxic patterns, even when society pressures us to maintain family relationships at any cost. As we explore this story, I want you to think about your own experiences with family boundaries. Have you ever felt pressured to maintain a relationship that was harmful to your well-being? How do you navigate the delicate balance between compassion and self-protection? These are the questions we'll be exploring as we delve into this powerful story of boundaries, healing, and the complex nature of family bonds. Our storyteller's childhood was marked by a pattern of manipulation that would shape their relationship for decades to come. Her mother consistently blamed her for the family's problems, particularly the divorce that occurred when she was just 12. But the manipulation didn't stop there. As our storyteller grew older, her mother's tactics became more sophisticated and invasive. She would create fake social media profiles to monitor her daughter's life, pretending to be potential friends or colleagues. She'd open credit cards in her daughter's name without permission, leading to financial difficulties that took years to resolve. The pattern was always the same: cause harm, deny responsibility, then act as if nothing had happened. When confronted, her mother would either claim no memory of these events or insist they were done out of love and concern. This gaslighting created a deep sense of mistrust and uncertainty that our storyteller would struggle with well into adulthood. The most painful part wasn't just the actions themselves, but the way her mother would rewrite history, insisting they had once been best friends during periods that were actually filled with control and manipulation. What should have been a joyous celebration instead revealed her mother's persistent boundary violations. Even with explicit instructions to keep the wedding small and intimate, her mother took it upon herself to invite dozens of additional guests without permission. She contacted vendors behind the couple's back, changing arrangements and even canceling some bookings because they didn't match her vision. When confronted, she claimed she was just trying to help make the day perfect. The final straw came when she announced the wedding details on social media, including the private venue location, despite explicit requests to keep the information private. This led to uninvited guests showing up and disrupting the ceremony. Instead of apologizing, her mother played the victim, crying about how she was just trying to be involved in her daughter's special day. This incident became a turning point, forcing our storyteller to realize that no boundary was sacred to her mother, not even on one of the most important days of her life. When this story was shared online, many viewers who've experienced similar manipulation recognized the classic signs of what therapists call narcissistic parenting. One commenter shared, "Your mother is following the typical cycle: cause harm, deny responsibility, then demand closeness as if nothing happened." Another pointed out, "She's not actually asking for a relationship, she's demanding access to control." Several others emphasized that maintaining distance serves as protection, not punishment. The extent of her mother's deception became clear when our storyteller discovered multiple fake social media profiles created to monitor her life. Have you ever had that gut-wrenching feeling that someone is watching your every digital move? Well, for our storyteller, this wasn't just paranoia. It was her reality. These weren't just casual observational accounts. They were elaborate personas, crafted to engage with her and her friends, each one meticulously designed to appear authentic and trustworthy. Her mother would create fictional characters: a new neighbor who supposedly just moved in down the street, a potential work colleague claiming to be in the same industry, even a fellow mom from her children's school who shared suspiciously similar interests. Through these carefully constructed accounts, she would gather information about our storyteller's life, relationships, and daily activities with frightening precision. The profiles would interact with her posts, strategically like and comment on photos, join the same online groups, and even strike up seemingly innocent conversations in comment sections. Think about it. How many of your own online friends do you actually know in real life? This digital manipulation reached its disturbing peak when one of these fake profiles began spreading subtle but damaging rumors about our storyteller's marriage, strategically planting seeds of doubt within her social circle. The ultimate goal? Creating enough drama that her mother could then conveniently step in and help resolve, positioning herself as the caring, concerned parent while actually being the puppet master behind it all. The discovery of this elaborate web of deception left our storyteller feeling violated and paranoid, questioning every new online connection and struggling to trust even legitimate friendships. It's a chilling reminder of how social media can be weaponized by those closest to us, turning what should be platforms for connection into tools for manipulation and control. The psychological impact was devastating. Imagine discovering that dozens of your supposedly genuine online relationships were actually one person, methodically collecting information about your private life like pieces in a twisted puzzle. Years of manipulation and boundary violations took a severe toll on our storyteller's mental health. Have you ever jumped at the sound of your phone ringing, your heart racing before you even check the caller ID? That's exactly how she felt. She developed intense anxiety around phone calls and text messages, never knowing when her mother would make another demand for attention or create a new crisis. Like the time her mother threatened self-harm because she couldn't attend a last-minute lunch invitation. Simple family events became psychological minefields. Birthday parties, holiday gatherings, even casual Sunday dinners transformed into sources of overwhelming stress, as she constantly had to be on guard against her mother's attempts to overstep boundaries or create drama. The hypervigilance extended to her own parenting, as she became terrified of unconsciously repeating any of her mother's behaviors with her own children. She would obsessively analyze every interaction, wondering if asking her daughter to call more often was normal maternal concern or the beginning of unhealthy control patterns. Therapy revealed the depth of the trauma, difficulty trusting others, constant second-guessing of her own memories and feelings, and a persistent sense of guilt about maintaining distance from her mother. She discovered that years of gaslighting had left her questioning her own reality. Was she really being too sensitive? Was setting boundaries actually selfish? The hardest part was dealing with well-meaning friends and family who didn't understand why she couldn't just get over it or give her mother another chance. They'd say things like, "But she's your only mother," or "She means well," unable to see beyond the carefully crafted public image. They couldn't see the years of manipulation and emotional abuse hidden behind her mother's public persona of the devoted, misunderstood parent. Think about it. How many others are suffering silently, their pain dismissed because their abuser appears perfect to the outside world? The journey to healing meant accepting that sometimes the deepest wounds come from those who were supposed to love us the most. Let's break down specific strategies for anyone dealing with a parent who refuses to respect boundaries. 1. Use the broken record technique. Calmly repeat your boundary without justifying or arguing. 2. Implement the gray rock method. Keep responses brief, factual, and emotionally neutral. 3. Create communication protocols. Set specific times for calls, texts, and stick to them. 4. Document boundary violations. Keep a record of incidents to maintain clarity when gaslighting occurs. 5. Build a support network. Connect with others who understand toxic family dynamics. This journey of setting boundaries with a parent is one that many of you watching might find painfully familiar. Have you ever felt that knot in your stomach when setting limits with a loved one? You're not alone. She started with small but significant steps. Not answering calls immediately, limiting visits to public places like coffee shops or restaurants, and refusing to discuss certain triggering topics about her personal life. Think of boundaries like a fence around a garden. They're not meant to push people away, but to protect what's precious. Each boundary was met with intense resistance, tears, guilt trips, and accusations of being cruel or ungrateful. Her mother, like many who struggle with boundaries, would cycle through different tactical responses. Love bombing with excessive gifts and attention. Imagine suddenly receiving daily packages and overwhelming declarations of love. Playing the victim to mutual friends and family. "My daughter doesn't love me anymore." And making dramatic health claims to demand attention. "My blood pressure is dangerously high because of your behavior." The most challenging aspect was maintaining these boundaries during family events or holidays, when the pressure to keep the peace was strongest. Picture those tense Thanksgiving dinners where everyone's walking on eggshells, or the family weddings where relatives corner you with well-meaning but misguided advice. Our storyteller learned to be direct and consistent, clearly stating her expectations and the consequences for violating them, much like a parent setting rules with a child. She developed specific phrases. "I won't discuss this topic, but I'm happy to talk about something else." Or, "If you continue to push this boundary, I'll need to leave." She also had to accept that some family members would never understand or support her decisions, choosing instead to believe her mother's version of events. This acceptance, while painful, became liberating. The process of boundary setting, while difficult, became essential for protecting her mental health and breaking the cycle of manipulation. Remember, boundaries aren't walls. They're bridges to healthier relationships, Today, our storyteller maintains a carefully managed distance from her mother, a journey that didn't happen overnight, but through countless small steps of self-discovery and courage. She's learned perhaps the most difficult lesson in healing, that it doesn't always lead to the picture-perfect reconciliation we see in movies. Sometimes, healing looks like accepting a truth many of us struggle with, that some relationships will never transform into what we desperately wished they could. I want to hear your experiences. What was your turning point in recognizing a parent's toxic behavior? How did you handle the guilt of setting boundaries with family? For those who've maintained distance from a parent, what strategies helped you stay firm in your decision? Share your story below. Your insight could help someone else find the strength to protect their own well-being. Sometimes we expect others to change, only to realize we need to adjust our own expectations. Our storyteller faced this exact challenge. She's found profound peace in creating her own definition of family, one built on respect, honest communication, and genuine care rather than obligation and manipulation. Think about that for a moment. Family isn't just about shared DNA, but shared values and mutual respect. Through support groups and therapy, she's connected with others who share similar experiences, finding the validation and understanding that eluded her for years. These connections have become a testament to how healing can bring unexpected gifts, new, chosen family members who truly understand your journey. While her mother continues to demand a closer relationship and insists they can start fresh, often through guilt-inducing messages and emotional manipulation tactics, our storyteller remains firm in her carefully constructed boundaries. She's learned that protecting herself isn't selfish. It's absolutely necessary for breaking generational patterns of toxic behavior. By maintaining these boundaries, she's not just helping herself, she's creating a healthier environment for her own children, showing them that love doesn't require enduring harm. Her journey reminds us that it's never too late to prioritize our well-being, even when it means making difficult choices about family relationships. After all, sometimes the bravest thing we can do is not to hold on, but to let go with grace and self-compassion.